Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our third week of doing school remotely. And on behalf of Mrs. Fawn and all the staff, we hope you're all safe and well and are engaging full-heartedly with the work we've been sending home. I know lots of the staff are impressed with the amount of work and correspondence that's been going on, especially through the Teams app that's been set up for each of us to engage with you at home. Well, I noticed last week we would have all noticed that the weather's changed, and because the sun's gone and it's got a bit cooler and a bit more damp, we've been more restricted, I would imagine, for most of us inside the house. I know that's the way it's been at my home. And when that happens, it is a little bit harder to manage day to day because you feel the freedom which we have got even restricted to the space around us is even more limited. Well, when that happens, we rightly, I feel, fed up sometimes. And when we feel fed up, it really comes down to a focus of how we can be determined to see it through. I'll tell you a quick story about how I pull myself up sometimes from my experiences and try to stay determined and focused on the task in hand. Well, when I was in the army, I was on a promotional course once, and right at the end of the course, that was about 8 weeks long, the final tab was into a village in Brecon. And when we were tabbing into the village, we'd been on the move for about 8-9 hours, and we were exhausted. We had Bergens on that weighed about 100 pounds. We were coming into the village, and the last part of it was a hill. And as we were coming in, obviously because I could see the finish line and thought that we'd completed the task, I just started walking with my head down, focusing on just getting to the finishing line and stumbling along. But actually, as a soldier, I'd just done the wrong thing because I wasn't still scanning the horizon and looking upwards and around me to make sure where I was going was safe. It wasn't over. And one of the training instructors who was alongside must have noticed what I'd done, and he shouted over to me, "Oi, Pricey!" And my head went up, and he said, "We look forward with determination, up for inspiration, but never down in desperation. Keep looking forward." And I'll never forget that saying. It's always about, in difficult times, and especially when we feel fed up, about looking forward with determination and staying focused on that end goal. Another way of putting it would be the famous Chinese proverb of the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. In other words, you just have to keep on going. And from scripture, it's very much like the story of Moses, isn't it? And the wandering in the desert of 40 years. Can you imagine when Moses started that journey, he didn't know how long it was going to go on for. He actually never got to see the promised land which God had promised him. He had to hand that over to Joshua, the next leader. First year, the second year, the 10th year, the 20th year, the 30th year, the 39th year. They didn't know when the end was going to come, but they still had to stay determined. That must have took a lot of resolve and a lot of looking forward and upwards. And so I hope and pray that as this next week carries on, and indeed the weeks ahead, that we can stay looking forward with determination. See the shape of the thing that you want. Whether it's the grades, whether it's the improvement in art, whether it's to be a bit fitter, whether it's to play that musical instrument a bit more fluently. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just saying focused and determined to that task. And so I know with the app that we're sending the work home on and your emails, please stay focused and determined. And I ask the parents as well to stay journeying tightly alongside your children so we're all on the same page as much as possible. So until next week, may God bless you all and take care.